All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Backstage at Bigfoot. I am the host, Dustin Galish. Today we have Nikki D joining us. Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming by.
Thank you for having me, Dustin. I'm glad to be here.
This is great. A big reason why we've been doing this show, again, is just trying to have more conversations and also performance. I think that's why, I was sort of brought in initially to sort of host, to kind of do some of that, because we were just performance-based. So we're really excited to have some conversations, learn more about you, and see you perform as well. So my first question, really, and I'm going to do this every show, is just really I want to know what got you started in music. What was that initial spark? What was the thing that, how old were you when you sort of even thought about wanting to do something like this?
Right,
because performing music is kind of a crazy thing when you really think about it. You're just making a bunch of noise and you're kind of screaming and yelling and singing.
Right. So with the singing part, I was born into a singing family. My parents, they sung in different groups, and so by me being the youngest of my siblings, of my sisters, and they always sung. We sung a cappella for years, and then we would sing around different churches here in Toledo. And we went to this one specific church, and it had this instrument. And so I was like, what is it? And the sound was just so rich and crazy and good and different, So I was 8. I was 8 years old when I discovered it, never heard of it. I've heard of drums and different things like that. But so I was telling my dad, I said, I want to, play that. And so we all kind of started playing music, but it was like when I heard it. And then I discovered more about it later, but that was my first experience hearing it and seeing it was in church. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, I like that. I think I've heard a lot of players who they see someone perform with the instrument and they just sort of go, that's like that moment where you're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like that sort of specific.
And
you
it
just
was.
see it happen.
Yeah. It was just crazy because it's like all this other music going on, but it was just how it would wail and sound. But then as I got older, I didn't know, it's in country music. It's from Hawaii. I didn't know the history of it, but my encounter was church. So when people ask me, they're not familiar with it being in gospel. But my first experience was in the gospel field.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think, what do you think lends that instrument to want to be sort of used in gospel music? What do you think was the inspiration? Do you think it really was the sound?
I believe so. I believe it was the sound. Now, it do have some music culture to it because the church that it come out of is called the House of God, Church of the Living God, and they couldn't afford piano. Mm-hmm. They couldn't afford piano. So at that time, the ukulele, steel guitar was very cheap. So they kind of gravitated to it. And, of course, the different slide sounds within the juke joints and, that kind of sound. So it runs close, blues, kind of gospel juke joint. So I think that's what it was. But the way we play it as a lead instrument. So back in the church, they would say it runs the spirit, the demonic spirits, the evil spirits out. So the more you just kind of wing, it's like, the Holy Ghost coming on in. So in the church, it was really that whole high-pitched sound was very, very vital in church, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, let's get to the music then. I think this is a good time. Okay. So let's hear how it sounds and looking forward to y'all playing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So this song, since we're speaking about running the evil spirits out, this song says, "Don't let the devil ride." Really bluesy, gospel bluesy. Let's rock. Drive, don't let him ride. Oh, don't if he ride with you, he'll try to tell you what to do. Don't let him ride.
and pray. Lord, I thank you for another day, for giving me my life, my strength and health. You're the one that give me wealth. If it's up on a mountaintop, Lord, I praise you till you tell me to stop. If it's down in the valley low, send me, I'll go. Here I am, Jesus. If you need somebody, send me. Yeah. Woo!
All right, Nikki, let's get into more about, what makes you tick, right? What's like what I want to get into really is, we've learned why you got started playing this thing. I think I want to know, get more into where you've played it in these different places. Now, for me, I'm aware you've traveled quite a bit.
Yes.
You've done some international touring. Certainly, I'm sure you've toured the Midwest and done that whole thing too. But what I want to get more into is also just the type of venues you all perform in is different.
Yes.
You're making gospel music and there's blues and all these things, but you perform a lot of different places. And for me, the question is sort of how do you take what you do and bring it to all these different venues? That's what I've taken from you. You really y'all do what you do.
Yeah.
No matter where you're at. You just did it for us.
Right.
You just did it for us here, right? Previously. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Right. I have to be a little conscious where I'm at, but not really conscious of where I'm at. Because sometimes, and this is just the reality, you would think I can be as excited, and as wild as I would want to be in church, but sometimes at church venues is when I have to tame, to calm down. I do more when we do church venues, I do more singing than playing. Okay. Even though it generated for me out of church. Some churches still are not familiar with it, but when we do the festivals, when we sing in the bars and those type of venues, concert halls, it's they get it. It's almost like they get it, so I don't have to do too much of, come on, get with it. They already with it, so I really go crazy. So it's they already at a high level of, excited about the music and the singing. So I really could be myself, those venues, and it's not as stressful either. Even when with my family, it's when we doing those what we call the festival venues, stuff like that. It's the sound and everything is just great where we can really produce and no restraints, no holding back at all.
That's interesting because I think, I would almost think the opposite in some ways. You know what I mean? And I think that's because to me, and seeing you all, the phrase is sort of you take them to church, which can be used in a lot of different ways, right?
Yes.
It's almost sort of that meaning can be applied in different ways. But I feel like when seeing you all, you sort of do that, and you don't really, you sort of just. And it's about the energy, it's about the feeling, it's about that sense of connection to something, and the music is definitely that bridge.
Yes,
and I think that's what I feel like you're kind of showing the connective tissue between gospel music, the blues, spirituality, and the instrument itself.
Yeah.
So maybe talk a little bit about what that means, why is it sacred steel? Is that what that means? I guess. Or
right.
What does that mean? I guess.
I know it was in 1990. I believe Bob Stone was the one that. Put the name to it, sacred steel, to decipher the different types of way it's played. I guess the sacred part of it is because usually a steel guitar, Hawaiian guitar, it has more chording. You do more 3-finger chords, more chording, and so with the sacred steel, it's almost like it's the person's voice. It's our voice. So it's like person singing, and as I get older, my voice have changed. So where I can't vocally say something, I'll play it out. It's like if I feel in my spirit to sing a high note, I won't sing it because I know I can't. I'll play it. So, but with that, it's like you said, connecting everything together because it is an energy, it is spirit, and I'm so thankful. I'm thankful to God for allowing me to be, the one that's able to play. Now I had to work hard. I guess I'm more talented than gifted. Some people they're so gifted they get it. I really had to study it and work it. But once I got it, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna really work it and really channel in every piece of it. So that's why my energy just I leave everything on the stage when I'm performing. Yeah.
And how long did it take you to sort of feel like you could truly channel the instrument? Right. There's always that learning curve as a musician. For me, I always the joke of it'd be hard to be a parent and teach and your kids learning. I want to learn violin or something. You're like, oh no, because it takes a couple. It can take a while before any of those notes even sound even you're like, you sound all right,
Right.
But what was that sort of curve like with the instrument? Of sort of when did you feel like you figured out you had a voice with it? Right?
I was, it took me 10 years. I mean, I mean it from, because when I got the instrument, and my dad, he was so, because he was excited about, hey, my baby girl want to play. So I got the instrument thinking, okay, 8-year-old, we feel we can do anything. Sure. I got it. And it's like, I'm like, Daddy, it don't sound like, with this one. And so I really had to work. So I was about 18. I was like an adult before I got good. And then I start listening to other, not steel guitar music, other musicians, other sounds that I enjoyed, like Jimi Hendrix, just different instruments and even vocalists, so I listened to them and pop staples, the staple singers. So then it's like I got into my own kind of style, and then that's when I really got, where I said, okay, I can do this.
Great. Well, let's get back to the music again. All that hard work pays off, right?
Yeah.
As we always musicians, the more we play, the better we get. So let's not get in the way of that anymore. And let's throw a couple more songs in there.
Okay, Dustin, I got you.
Oh, great.
It was a Wednesday morning when I heard my mother scream. So I went downstairs to see what that screaming. My daddy had a massive heart attack. He was dead on the kitchen floor. I said, oh God, will this be the last time I see my daddy anymore? No more. Oh Lord. No more. I was only 18 years old, yeah, when he departed this life. But I remember when I used to play as a little girl, I was trying to get better. And so different things my daddy would tell me to do to make sure I communicated with the audience and let them know what I'm feeling at that time. So my daddy would say stuff like this. He would say, make it talk. So I would do stuff like this. And then he would say stuff like, now, Nikki, I need you to make that guitar sing. So I would do stuff like this. people wouldn't get with me because they're like, what is this girl doing? My daddy would look at me and he'll say, now, Nikki, what I need you to do is shoot the rockets. And so when I was really doing it good, he said, come on, baby, play, baby. So I'm going to do a little of the shooting the rockets. Is that all right? Somebody say yeah. Say yeah, Meeks.
So for me, I want to really talk about now is like, where do you take this from here? You know, you've been at this for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of where do you take what you've been building over all these years and sort of build upon that even more? I think another question is sort of how do you is a part of your role at this point sort of keeping this tradition alive, right? I think that's something that a lot of musicians or sort of like even myself included are trying to expose people to a lot of this traditional music that's been around for a while, but even modernize it so it doesn't feel like it's just like you're on grandpa's music or something.
Right.
Which is not the truth. You know, this is stuff that you can still push. It's an instrument you can still push. So talk a little bit about like where you're at with it now and how do you see the future sort of developing?
Yes. I think since the pandemic, it really gave me a whole different perspective, a greater appreciation because, we play here and there. Oh, that's cool. And we picking and choosing where to play. But since the pandemic, it's like, oh my goodness, not being able to play. It's like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much this was not only a part of me, it is me, so where I can see us going with it is, international. We're going to be going to Switzerland in August. So we our group it consists of 10 of us all together, but we're able to do like a 4-piece, 6-piece or whatever. So we're able to go to Switzerland. So I want to do more international, the whole folk festivals and stuff like that to really understand the music culture of who we are and concert. I want to do concerts and, tour, like be on tour out for 3 months at the Carnegie Hall, the Apollo. Let me just throw it out there, so I can see us doing that. I just want to, on the business side of things, that takes more than really the performing. So get the business side together and, really try to hit this stage. Because I feel I always say this, I feel that we're not for everybody, but we're for somebody. Because some people, it's like they can't vibe with it. But some people like, where the next place y'all gonna be? So, I thank God for my family because we are a family group. My cousin, I got 2 cousins, niece and nephew, a god sister, and 3 sisters, and so that's what combines the whole band and group. Yeah.
Do you feel like that family aspect helps sustain it in the sense of or having more trust? Or even just having something that's more stable. I think myself as a musician, it's been tough. There's a transient nature of towns where you're just sort of changing a lot, and it's always tough to sort of really hone in with a specific group. And I think, do you feel like the family has helped you? Yeah. What's the positives of that, and maybe even some of the negatives, right?
Yeah,
and there's some of that too, right? Because
I
sometimes my mom, we get along great, but there's sometimes I'm like, why am I being so short with my mom?
Right.
It's because she's my mom. I don't know why. It's just so, like the way you treat family. Sometimes you can like get away with more, but there's still that love underneath it.
Yeah,
so,
it is. Yeah. So the advantage of it with family, they kind of almost in so many words know what I'm thinking. It's like with our vocals, our harmonies is more tight. They kind of we understand each other because we was all involved and engulfed in it. But like you said, the downside is not knowing how to separate niece from you the alto, so as part of the group, the business. So then I feel I cater to the family side, like, come on. But if it was like somebody else out of the group, it's like, okay, no, you gonna do this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or vice versa. Or because they family, I assume they want to do it or make them, because they family is like, okay. So it's some, like I said, we talk to our family kind of any kind of way.
Yeah.
So that's probably the downside of things. But they have my back. Some things be last minute, like, oh, Auntie forgot about
that gig.
About that gig.
Like,
okay, when is it? But yeah, so yeah, with family, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Yes.
Well, Nikki, we've really enjoyed you all playing today. Really, it's been
thank
great. I'd like to do one more song if that's all.
Oh, yeah,
if that's fine with you, and sort of just end the show out for us, and just really appreciate you all stepping in here, doing what you do, and just looking forward to doing more of these in the future.
We thank you for the opportunity. Shoot. People don't have to hear from us. You know what I'm saying? Want to know what we're about, because some people, they take the music and not take who we all about. So I appreciate that.
That's probably what we're trying to do it too, is get more depth to the music. As a surface level, you could be, they're just kind of a gospel band. That's not my cup of tea. But I think once you sort of find the connective tissue between all of us, you can resonate with the music in your own way too. You know.
That's
so
true. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. All right.
Nations against nations, killings everywhere. So much destruction, people don't care. We got gang violence, police brutality. We need. We got mothers against daughters, fathers against sons. We need. So much going on in the world today. We need your power right now. We got sickness and disease. Can't get no ease from all the pain in these bodies. We need your power right now. We got that thing called cancer. We know in your word we find the